to thank Christina Marshall for being here today for our FFAW webinar series. Christina Marshall is a safety specialist with Maidsafe Nl, and she's going to talk to us about what Maidsafe Nl has been up to this past year and some of the exciting things that they have on the go right now. So I will hand it over to you, Christina. Thank you.
Good morning, Elise. Thanks so much for the opportunity to come on this morning. So let me take a look here and share my screen. And we'll jump into a brief presentation anyway. So I guess a little bit about Maidsafe Nl. We are an initiative of the Canadian manufacturers and exporters of Newfoundland and Labrador. And many people who are watching today may be aware, for example, of the Newfoundland and Labrador Construction Safety Association, the Fish Harvesting Safety Association, the Forestry Safety Association. So Maidsafe Nl has really just joined that family of sector-based safety organizations in the province. For us, we're committed obviously to promoting and protecting the health and safety of employees and employers within the manufacturing and processing sector specifically throughout Newfoundland and Labrador. So obviously this is a partnership with Workplace NL, and we have been working collaboratively throughout the last year. As you said, we're still new. We just began formally in January of last year, but we're working collaboratively with employers and employees to ensure that our workplaces throughout the province remain healthy, safe, and productive. So we're guided by an industry-led safety council, and that includes a fish processing subcommittee. We, of course, in future and have begun a little bit offering training, access to events once we can all get back to public spaces and getting together again. But we've been doing a lot of things virtually as well this year. A big thing we'll be doing, of course, is providing information and resources, consultation with our employers and employees, and certification. So the big thing here is that working together with our council and our partners, the stakeholders and the employees and employers, this all comes from manufacturers and processors for manufacturers and processors in our province. So I guess a little sense of how we got here. I joined the organization just a little over a year ago in early January of 2020, but a lot of work had been done prior to that time, actually 4 or 5 years, even longer out, really looking towards having an organization that would specifically look at health and safety for the manufacturing and processing sectors. So this is just a snapshot in time for the most recent year that we have a full year of statistics for, which is 2019 right now. You can see here from this, graph or this slide that currently manufacturers and processors in Newfoundland and Labrador are just about twice the provincial average in terms of our incident rate. So the province is at a rate of about 1.6, and as you can see here, fish processing is at about 2.8, and manufacturing is at about 2.9. So I don't think I could find anyone in the province, certainly within these sectors, who would be okay with these numbers. So obviously there was a push and a lot of people working together to make Maidsafe Nl happen. And our mandate obviously is to improve these outcomes for our processors and our manufacturers in the province. So if we look at bringing these numbers down, yes, absolutely. But I think even more importantly, or more broadly than that, our mandate and our goal is to improve the safety culture within the manufacturing and processing sectors. So to bring the numbers down, it will be great, obviously, if that happens, and that is what we're striving for. but we don't want the numbers to be our only driver, because numbers can go down and they can go back up. When we look more at culture shift within the sectors, obviously we have a better shot at sustaining long-term positive outcomes for our manufacturers and processors. So our first goal is to improve these outcomes, because obviously being twice the provincial average is not good. And I mean, ultimately, we want really that magic number of 0. We want the workers in our manufacturing and processing sectors to get up in the morning, do what they need to do, earn a good day's living, but come home to their families at the end of the day, healthy and well. One person heading to a doctor's office or an emerge is one too many, as far as we all certainly believe here within Maidsafe Nl and the family of people who brought this together. So what have we been doing, and what are we hoping for the manufacturers and processors in our province? So as we talked about, there's a lot of things that are our ultimate goals in terms of the coaching, mentoring, guiding, supporting, educating. Those are going to be our goals for life as an organization. But there's a few things that obviously, even within this year, and it's been an unprecedented year, to say the very least. But I think even giving the challenges that we faced as an organization, we still were able to achieve, I think, quite a bit this year. So one was a way to communicate and a way to articulate all around the province access to resources and information. So we really saw our website as being a great hub of information for individuals, organizations. So our website is up and running. So I would certainly encourage any of our manufacturers and processors in the province to check out our website. Obviously, it's in its infancy. It's only been developed a few months, but we constantly want to be upgrading that with tools, resources, checklists, best practices, lessons learned. And so we really encourage, because it's manufacturers and processors website. So we want it to be reflective of them. We want feedback to let us know what they think, ways to improve it. But we really do, as a first step, encourage them to check out the website. So it's www.maidsafenl.ca. We are also active on social media. We have secured Maidsafe Nl on all social media platforms. But currently, we have been posting to LinkedIn and also to Twitter. So certainly, if any of the people watching want to stay in touch with us and find out, what we're doing and what's happening, either around COVID or just around general health and safety within the manufacturing and processing sectors, we really encourage people to follow us and engage with us on social media. So over the past year, again, given the fact that we were, still in a COVID-19 world, we had to respond very quickly, actually. In March, we had only begun really to start the journey of who we were going to be and how we wanted to get there, when, the middle of March happened and everybody went into a lockdown. And then, of course, through the spring and summer, we sort of eased that out a little bit. But we still knew that there was a need for an organization like Maidsafe Nl. So we developed a guideline for healthy and safe operations in this COVID-19 pandemic. We've actually revisited that now with our recent developments here in the province. But it's a timeless document. It's about 30 something pages. It really walks employers through what you need to do to help your employees and workplace be healthy and safe during this pandemic. It's linked on our website, so people can access that there. We also, as a result of the guideline, offered many webinars. Certainly in the early stages of the pandemic, we were doing them weekly, daily. We're still offering them monthly. We actually just did one last week, given the sort of shift in the pandemic here in the province, and we'll continue to do that as is needed. So we also worked on governance. So our council went through governance training, developing our bylaws. Our subcommittee has also been engaged and are working on its governance documents. So, building the framework and a solid foundation for what we are looking to achieve in the coming months and years, really. So we've also worked on brand development. So the Manufacturing and Processing Safety Sector Council was a bit of a mouthful. So through a process of consultation and engagement, we came up with Maidsafe Nl. So now the Manufacturing and Processing Safety Sector Council is Maidsafe Nl within Newfoundland and Labrador. And of course, all the marketing pieces and the branding pieces that go with that. We continue to develop curriculum because we know education and training is so important for a sector-based organization. We've begun with a senior executive and business owner program that we've offered just before the holidays and just after, but we continue to engage in a number of different pieces on the curriculum development side. And of course, I think the bread and butter of this organization is going to be liaising with employers and employees directly. And the pandemic has certainly provided challenges around being able to do that face-to-face. But we continue to do that virtually with a lot of our employers and have had the opportunity over the year to spend time supporting, helping, answering questions, offering webinars with our employers, but we really do look forward to a time when we can hit the road and get out in the workplaces and meet a lot of our employees and managers face to face. But that obviously will continue again through who we are as an organization. So you will notice on pretty well everything that we will publish a tagline of work safe, home safe every day. And truly that is what will drive Maidsafe Nl. We have a beautiful province, an incredible province with amazing people who go to work every day to provide the products and services to our province that we need to survive and thrive. And of course, that's never been more needed and obvious through this pandemic. But we want to ensure that all workers that go to work here in our province, and obviously for us here at Maidsafe Nl, particularly within the manufacturing and processing sectors, go to work, earn their living, but make no mistake, get out the door at the end of the day, having earned a good day's pay, and go home to their families. Certainly in no worse shape, if not better, at the end of their workday. So really, it is about that culture shift and ensuring that all of our workers are healthy and well at the end of their workday. So that kind of brings it home for me. Do you have any questions for me? Thank you, by the way, for the opportunity to do this.
Well, thank you very much for taking time today to talk with us about the Maidsafe Nl. I think that the point that we all are trying to get to is, like you said, zero. We want to get those numbers to zero. We want to make sure that everybody gets home safe, no matter what their job is. And certainly for our members, it's an alarming numbers in fish processing and manufacturing for us in terms of incident rates. So I just want to know if you folks have been doing, because we've been getting some questions about this, if Maidsafe Nl is, focusing on any mental health initiatives as well, or is it really just kind of based on those incident rates in terms of soft tissue and stuff like that? Or is there plans to expand, anything like that?
You know what? That is a fantastic question. And I am a very big supporter of mental health personally. And within my career, advocate strongly because, and it's never been more poignant than right now.
Yeah.
With the pandemic, I think emerging through this and out of this, mental health will probably be one of the top issues that employers will have to deal with. So.
Definitely.
Already, if you follow us on social media, many of our posts have been through the Canadian Mental Health Association and Newfoundland Labrador Division, but also national divisions and others. We look at psychological health and safety. We've had partnerships with Workplace NL to provide information. So mental health will definitely be a part of our outreach and our support. And if we don't have obviously that expertise, because we're not therapists and psychologists and that sort of thing, but we definitely want to be supporting employers to provide linkages for information and expertise when and if they need it. But I know that it's going to be a huge issue going forward, without a doubt.
I mean, I think that when we're looking at those incident rates and how we want to make sure that people are getting home safe and being safe at home, and we know that a work day, that we are our working selves, those are all very connected. So making sure that we have protections for our physical and our mental health are really, really important. And especially, like you said, with this pandemic, this ongoing forever pandemic, it seems. It's going to be really important to have those supports in place. And we recognize that a lot of our members are in rural Newfoundland and Labrador, where there is not as much access to supports for mental health. So making sure that employers are a part of that conversation is really important in how we really address mental health in this province in a really big way. I want to point out too, the Maidsafe Nl change from safety sector processing, that was really good, because it's always a mouthful when we're trying to explain it. So the easier branding is certainly easier for our members. And I guess I just wanted to ask specifically in terms of our members in fish processing, what kind of initiatives maybe are going to be targeted at those members? We know that there's a lot of issues with that soft tissue, repetitive strain. Just kind of what sort of programming are you guys looking forward to kind of in the next steps? And I know it's all very early now, but just kind of give our members some ideas about what some upcoming programs could look like.
Sure. We're very fortunate within Maidsafe Nl. We talked about our governing council that supports us and guides us, and within that, of course, the subcommittee for fish processing. So at that table, we have workers, we have employers who, in consultation, really help validate for us what the issues are. And obviously, the more engagement we get out in the communities at the workplace, that will also give us some guidance and direction as to what are and we readily acknowledge, I guess, that what is good for one part of the province and one workplace may be very different from what is needed in another part of the province in another workplace. So we want to make sure that we're not cookie cuttering everybody, that everybody needs this. Now, soft tissue and musculoskeletal injury prevention, that is a pretty broad brush at everybody, because that injury rate across the province in all industry sectors is high. Certainly within fish processing, it is high there as well. But the other assistance, I guess, we have is working with our stakeholder in Workplace NL. We get a lot of important information from injuries targeted, where they're coming from. So they have a lot of that data that they can pass along to us in terms, and I say generally, where are the injuries occurring? What types of injuries are we seeing generally? Which again will be another source of information to help us target where we need to focus that attention. So I think it's going to be coming from a variety of sources, but really the key ones will be from the workers themselves, from the workplaces themselves, but also in terms of Workplace NL and those stats in terms of, so we know, for example, from the statistics that musculoskeletal injuries are by far the number one source of injury in the province across all industry sectors, including fish processing. So that helps us. If we know that there are other types of injuries that are occurring, and again, from year to year, that can shift. Now, MSIs tend to stay number one and have been that way for a long, long time. But what would be number two? What would be number three? That could change from year to year. So we want to make sure that we're engaging in that data and engaging, most importantly, with the workplaces themselves, the committees, the workers, the employers, so that we're giving them the guidance and support that they need to prevent those injuries in the first place.
I think that speaks to data is the big thing, right? We want to make sure too that our members are reporting issues that they're having, that they can maybe get ahead of it too, because sometimes we wait too long for issues, and that goes hand in hand with making sure that Workplace Nl is providing those supports so people can come forward and they're having that scaffolding there, that if they have an injury, they don't wait until it gets a lot worse, because they have the supports available in the beginning to address them. So I think that is going to be a big part of a big part of that as well, and making sure that
Yeah,
our members are comfortable coming forward and have the supports needed in order to address those issues. So really looking
yeah.
forward to that, what you folks are able to do with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Elise. The early detection and reporting is so important on so many fronts. I mean, if an event occurs, then you have to deal with that. It's reactive, but we want to be as proactive as we can in preventing these injuries from occurring in the first place. And a lot of people live through a lot of discomfort, writing it off to, I'll just get some rest over the weekend, I'll be okay. Well, there's a lot more interventions preventatively that we can engage in early than when it's too late and you're in, excruciating pain. We don't want that for any worker. So really, knowing those early signs, especially like I said, with the MSIs and that sort of thing, knowing about early signs, what they look like, and then what do I do about it? That will be a huge push, because the earlier we can, the better the outcomes.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much, Christina, for being with us today. And, our members are really going to appreciate being able to access this webinar, because, we have members across the province. So this is a great way for them to engage and hear about the work that's been going on, because, as you know, our membership in fish processing was vital in getting fish processing kind of on everybody's mind and around the table. So really looking forward to see what the next steps are and how we're going to make sure that nobody comes home, everybody comes home safe.
Right.
That's our end goal, of course.
Thank you so much to you and the FFAW for the opportunity to come on. And obviously, as we grow and work at different initiatives, we hope that maybe we'll have the opportunity to share that information with the membership as we move forward, because this really is all about engagement and consultation and providing information. So we hope everybody checks out the website and starts to follow us on social media, and we'll keep you posted on as things develop. But again, thanks so much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much.